Together we'll conquer, no limits apply. Eclipse rising, shining so bright. With delusion leading, we'll conquer the night. Together we stand, in battles we fight. In M.Beatmaker, our future is right.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? I am Delusions, and today we are stepping off into the Demon Ruler raid with the ENE elf. Now, this has been a highly requested piece here, just because primarily, you only see a lot of PvP action coming out of my channel when it comes down to some of these different classes that I play, as well as some of the build guides that I provide. But I thought that this would be a nice mix between the two, because there is not a whole lot that is covered when it comes down to the PvE/PvP side of things, and Corpse does it all for us. So not only is the ENE elf going to be very solid in PvP, but it is one of, if not the best, damage dealer in the game as of now. And you'll see that as we start progressing through this, and how easily it is for us to transition from doing boss damage to doing player damage um, for all classes. Now, you will see me die throughout this video, but I definitely wanted to make sure that I was able to provide a little bit of this so that you could kind of get a feel for it yourself and see if this is something that you would be interested in doing. Now, despite how high my CP is, there are, of course, those that are much higher than me, well into 220, 250 million CP, and have some very, very solid builds, um, and some of which are built around killing elves. So that is one thing that I have to keep in mind when I'm stepping up against these people, and if I don't get a good jump on them, they will definitely get the jump on me. But as you can see, we're kind of mowing through these guys and still being able to stay on top of all of the boss damage that we need. Of course, when it comes down to the Demon Ruler raid, you have got to stay on top of every single boss. Now, with that being said, it's a lot easier said than done. Um, that's why I try to position and work with my corpse members as well as my personal guild members to be able to be in all of these places at once. But again, with all of the higher CP players, it is hard to bounce from place to place to place and still hold that victory. Um, but I think we did pretty well off in this, and as you can see, we are going to be heading off to another boss here to try and take over some ownership on it. Definitely want to focus on keeping a good communication, um, as well as trying to make sure that everybody is in sync and knows what to do, and that's hard to do across all of the guilds that'll be in your corpse. As you can see here, we're going to be taking a lot of damage coming from these mages, which I will end up falling to here shortly. But it's one of those things that you can never really outrun, because poison is something that is unavoidable. Of course, we've got all of these dark knights that are coming in with their reflect. As I'm hitting one, I may as well be hitting all of them, and all of that damage is just then reflected right back at me to the point to where I can't keep up. So you'll see me go through and bounce around to some other locations to try to go ahead and gain a little bit of ground and be able to make up on some of this. And the key thing to remember is that once you die at a certain boss, you will have to move to another location, because you will then get a 10% damage debuff on that boss. So coming into this one here, again, there is a ton of players that are going to be on this boss because, again, everybody is trying to shoot for that top spot. But you can watch as I climb from third place all the way up to first place on this boss in such a short amount of time. Again, you have to be prepared. It's always good to travel in groups, but with me being the top damage dealer in our corps, I tend to want to keep all of my guys focused on other things while I can do a lot of chip damage and take over some of these other bosses that may be less occupied. And it's worked out for us. I think that this match here actually put us back in the lead as the top corps for the day, and not only the daily contributions, but as well as our overall corps contributions as well. And I have to say, for being such um, a small corps, we have definitely made a name for ourselves as being one of those that is not going to go down without a fight. As you can see, pretty much wiped off all the players that were here, and we have a very strong DK that just jumped in that we'll have to deal with very quickly, or we're going to end up losing our spot here. But as you can see, we're still progressing and wiping through a lot of these people pretty quickly. We're going to be able to gain this top spot, but I don't believe that we'll be able to hold on to this one all the way through because, again, these players just keep coming back for more. I did have one person uh, jump in to assist me on this, which was very, very nice. And even though I wasn't able to win all of these different fights that I went into, it is one of those things that I try to make sure that if I'm this close to putting a lead on a boss, that I want to make sure that I am hanging around just long enough to be able to solidify our gains there and keep the other corpse from getting that particular boss. But we all seem to be doing pretty well. I kind of jumped right off into the middle of all of this and just quickly died again by that pretty strong DK there. Um, but you can't win them all. And that's one of the things that I've always preached is it's not going to be something that you're going to be able to walk into and know for certain that you're going to be able to take every single boss. It may have happened for us uh, on our first Demon Ruler event, but ever since then, people have caught on quick. As you adapt to different changes, so will everybody else. Now, keep in mind, there is such a big jump between the CP that we're sitting at now, or I guess the damage that we're setting at now, compared to where we need to be able to take this top spot. And just watch how fast some of this starts to ramp up once you start spending a little bit more time there at that particular boss. Um, I don't know why I stayed in this menu for so long. I was really hoping that it would jump off, but it looks like I'm just kind of teeter-tottering around on trying to keep focus on where it needs to be. Looks like I need to jump over there to this one here at the end of Revenge to try to take a little bit of gain there. But just in the time that it took for me to look through that menu, we are now in the lead for this boss. Um, Traditionally, as of right now, with the current build that I have got for myself, I'm pushing somewhere between the 40 to 50 trillion damage range. But again, I bounce around so much, so there's not a lot of consistency with the damage that I do. Um, but yeah, I've got to say that this class here has surprised me a lot. As you can see, we've got No Mercy here, who has been very gracious in helping with the development of the compendium. For all of you that don't know, that is the guide that I am currently building and have reached out to a lot of well-known players throughout the MU Dark Epoch community to assist on. No Mercy has one of the best, if not the best, AGI elf builds that I have seen so far in the game, and is extremely, extremely strong. Definitely not winning that 1-to-1, but I also am extremely competitive and don't like to lose, so I'm going to push back. So you'll see us go back and forth on this, just because, again, I really like the competition that Corpse has brought me, as well as for our guild. It's pretty much opened up our eyes to knowing that, yes, we have to anticipate all of this and we have to keep on pushing forward, or we're going to continue to fall behind. Plus, I mean, I think that a lot of friendly competition is going to be one of those things that is really going to make the game more worthwhile. If you are consistently on top of your server or your cross servers, it gets stale after a while. So it's nice to be able to jump into Corpse and then just get demolished by all of these different players. And I can't think of a better way to do this. But with that said, we've got 20 seconds coming up on the clock here. I think that we've got the second place locked in the bag for this. Not going to be able to go through and keep up with Mercy and the boss at the same time. So we're going to step back and just kind of coast this one out. Didn't want to use a lot of diamonds to go ahead and resurrect on this one. But we were able to go through and take quite a bit of bosses. As you can see here, we got either first or second on all of the major bosses except for one. And then the secondary bosses we were really lacking in, but I think that's just because we just don't have the damage to really spread out that much. But I hope you guys enjoyed all of this. I hope you were able to kind of learn something, see what this class is about, see how we are able to make some of this work. And with that, I am Delusions, and I am out.
So raise your sword high, let's claim our fame. With every boss fallen, we'll carve our name.